Denver teachers striking over bonus-based pay system, demanding reliable salary plan and better wages. This is from Democracy Now! Public school teachers in Denver, Colorado are striking for the second day after negotiation between the teachers union and the school district failed to reach a contract over the weekend. The Denver Classroom Teachers Association is demanding an increase in teachers' base salaries rather than putting money in incentives and bonuses. The Denver teachers walked out Monday following 15 months of negotiations over a controversial bonus-based pay system that educators say leaves them unable to predict their salaries and guarantee financial security. The starting salary for a Denver teacher for the 2019-2020 school year is $45,255, according to the Denver Post. This is their first strike in 25 years. Here's what one of the teachers is saying. That's the president of the Colorado Education Association. Here's some verbiage from their interview with Juan Gonzalez. Our students are the ones who suffer the most when qualified, committed, and caring educators can't afford to stay in the classroom. Teachers want to stay. There's no place we'd rather be than in front of our students every single day, but we don't need a bonus to stay. No, we need reliable, reasonable class sizes. We need mental health support for our students. So bring us a proposal tomorrow that has a fair, transparent, and competitive salary schedule that prioritizes base salary over bonuses that disrupt our students' education. So here's my thing. This, of course, is new to me today. This is my first awareness of the teacher strike. Started yesterday. What I'm not aware of is how those salaries work, where you see they mention time and time again, this bonus is a big part of the salary. This is a big factor of teacher salary. I'd imagine that's some kind of performance bonus. So I imagine that means if your students get certain grades, you get a bonus. If they don't get the grades, you don't. That's what I'm guessing something like that means. But even if that's not exactly what it means, you guys see how a bonus, like an incentive based on students' performance is a very, very not good thing to do on so many levels. First of all, it's like, hey, if you get this certain grade, I'm going to get a bonus. So, hey, students, the answer to number 3 might be B. It might be B. Might be B. Hey, look at this chalkboard where I'm totally not writing all the answers. That could happen. That could happen. Also, how can you be, I mean, so many of these classes are just at random. How are you going to know? Like, some students might struggle more. They might need extra attention than others. So if you don't get them to a certain grade, you're not going to. And plus, wouldn't that incentivize teachers to grade them easier? To just be like, oh, like everyone got an A. What I'm saying is, how do they base that incentive? Is it based on number of students taught? That's also bad, because then you're going to want more students in your classroom, which means you're not going to be able to teach as easily. You can only teach so many students in the classroom. Once you have above a certain number, it just becomes ridiculous. That's why a lot of these strikes are happening, including this one. The teachers are saying we need reasonable class sizes. So if you give them an incentive based on the grade students get, that's a terrible idea. If you give them an incentive based on how many students they're teaching, also a terrible idea. Well, gee, how else could you base incentives? Is it based on how many classes they teach? Well, gee, how many classes can teachers teach per day? Again, once you get to a certain point, it becomes ridiculous and you're going to do a shitty job. So again, that's another terrible incentive to give teachers. So I don't see any scenario where an incentive-based pay for teachers works or is a good idea or in any way would help them do their job. Their salary should be focused on the job itself, and they should be paid well. So that's an interesting part to this in the Denver situation. Like, what are these incentives? Like, what are these incentives that they're getting? So here's something interesting. Amy Goodman reports that several Denver students joined their teachers on picket lines outside their schools on Monday. Many complained of chaos inside the schools due to inadequate staffing of substitute teachers and lack of schedules for students. This is Denver's first teacher strike in a quarter of a century. It comes just weeks after a historic 6-day teacher strike in Los Angeles and that ended with a victory for educators demanding smaller class sizes and higher wages. These actions are the latest in a wave of teacher strikes that began last year with Republican-controlled states like West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Arizona. So that's the one thing to keep in mind. Strikes, just like the common cold, are contagious. Once they start, they keep going. And more people do them. And more people want to do them. Why? Because they're necessary right now. So that's the one thing that can make you a little optimistic. Strikes are contagious. Let's see if there's any more as far as what's going on in Denver right now. So here's from a science teacher. My name is Samantha Agus, and I'm a science teacher at East High School in Denver Public Schools. And I'm here because I believe that all students deserve experienced teachers, and there's too much turnover in the Denver Public Schools. And so we're hoping that we can change that through these contract negotiations, and hopefully the district will start listening. This is my 3rd year in the public school system, my 5th as a teacher. Right now, I can't afford to have a family. My husband and I would really like to start planning for that in the next few years. And as it is now, our baby would probably have to sleep in a closet or something because we can't afford to upsize our home or anything like that. We can't do any renovations, and so we're kind of in a holding pattern. And so we're hoping that after these contract negotiations that we'll be in a place where we can save money and start a family. That's great. You know, when I think about the betterment for humanity, the last thing I want are teachers making people. I wouldn't want that. Man, people who specializing in educating people, wouldn't want them breeding. How terrible is that? A teacher can't afford to have a family. And it's not like they're calling for, it's not like they're calling to make the same money that a surgeon makes or something like that. They're asking for a decent wage for what they do, and they deserve one. They're responsible for educating the future of America. That's what their job is. Like, hey, the future, it depends. It starts here, starts with you. And there are some, man. I just think about how one of the first teachers I had was one of the worst ones I had. My kindergarten teacher was awful. That's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into it, but man, she was the worst. She hated me. I cut my hair on the 2nd day of school, and then right after I did that, she just decided she hated me. Like, after that, like, she was just like, she blamed me for, like, I was considered a problem child after that happened. So we'll see what happens here with this strike. It's on its 2nd day. And again, the one uplifting thing about all this, strikes are contagious. So it's in Colorado now, and I look forward to seeing where it's going to be next. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron.